Hey, what's up guys, it's Graphic Phoenix back with another video today, and today we're doing a best starter reptiles video, the lizards edition. These will only be the lizards that I'd recommend. I will do some snakes, however I don't own any, but I still know a decent amount about them and I can still make some good recommendations for you guys. Let's get started. Before I actually get into the video, I'm going to say that this is only a recommendation. This is not a care video, and the information in this video is not enough to go out and get one of these reptiles. You need to do as much research as you possibly can and be ready for the reptile that you're going to take on. With that said, I will be giving some of the basic information about these guys just so you have an idea of what you're getting into and what you can expect from these. First, we're going to get started with the Crested Geckos. Take happens to be right here. I hope she's going to be good. Yep. I just had her out, so that's why she's being good. Crested geckos are awesome geckos. They are from New Caledonia, and they are tropical, so you do need to mist them 2 to 3 times a day. The reason for misting is A, to keep the humidity higher in their cage, as well as they actually drink from the water droplets that are produced from misting. They do not require a water bowl or anything like that. Temperatures only need to be around room temperature, so I don't know what that is, but it's like 22 to 25 degrees Celsius, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, cage size for these guys is going to be 18 by 18 by 24, which I actually have here. And you can see her setup as well. But I strongly recommend these guys for a number of reasons, just because they don't require live food. They stay small. Like, this is an adult female. She's probably 3 years old, and she's climbing up. There's one thing about these guys that I will demonstrate before she climbs on my shoulder, is that they do jump, and they like to jump, as you can see. They jump fairly well, and just have to be careful because their tails can come off and they do not regrow back. So when handling these guys, just be cautious, start slow, and get them used to your hands, get them used to walking around, get them used to being out of the cage before you do the 15-20 minute handlings. If I forgot to mention already, their lifespan is 15 to 20 years, so you will be signing up for a long commitment when you decide to purchase one of these guys, or girls in my case. Other than that, not too much else to say. They're a great starter reptile, and I strongly recommend them to anybody that wants a tropical, tree-dwelling species of gecko. Moving on from there, we have leopard geckos. Now these guys, I'm sure anybody that knows anything about reptiles knows that these guys are great starter pets. This was my first reptile when I first started back 10 years ago, and he's still kicking. This being said, they have a lifespan of 20 years, and some of them have been recorded at 30 years, so keep that in mind. These guys live even longer than the crested geckos, and they're still just as awesome. However, as you can tell, they are desert species and do not require a UVB bulb just like the crested geckos, but stay similar size. These guys can be about 6 to 10 inches, and if you get the super giants or stuff like that, I believe they can get to like 12, 13, 14 inches. But those guys are giant. For leopard geckos, I recommend having a 15 to 20 gallon tank for one, or a pair. You can do both. But Striker's pampered, he's not breeding, he's not going to do any of that. He's my pet, and I love him, and he's been in this 15 gallon since pretty much the day I first got him. Some people do recommend 10 gallons for these guys. Unfortunately, I think the 10 gallons are a little bit too small for them. That's my opinion, to be able to have 2 good-sized huts, a hot side and a cold side. Hot side temperatures do require to be about 85, 90 at the highest, and cold side can be mid to low 70s. This is done in my tank by an under tank heater and a heat cave. These guys do require live food, unlike the crested geckos that can be sustained and do quite well on just the crested gecko diet. These guys do require live food in the form of crickets or mealworms. But if you're into that, that will be no problem, because these guys are awesome as well. They're just as tame, they're just as handleable, and they live longer, so you'll have a lifelong friend. Now for my third starter reptile that I recommend, I actually recommend blue-tongued skinks. Some of you guys might think I'm crazy for this, but in my opinion, they are awesome. This is Sky. He's covered in dirt. Over the weekend, I actually did find out that it is a male, but these guys are also fantastic. They do not require live food. They can pretty much be sustained off cat food and salad. I do recommend that you feed them a larger variety of foods than that. I actually have a skink food making video. I'll leave the link down below so you guys can go check that out for anybody that's wondering. But as you can tell, these guys are a little more active, and he's also not feeling very secure, so I'll come join him down here. But this is my kind of lizard. I like the ones that are a little more runny and have a little more personality. Now these guys are fairly large, as you can tell. That's my forearm, and her tail goes off the side of my bed there. These guys can reach a size of 18 to 24 inches, and pretty much the same size as the bearded dragons, if you guys didn't know that. They do require a hotspot of 100 degrees or so. Alright, I'll let her run away, and I will film her tank. They do require a hotspot of 100 degrees. That's her hotspot. It's basically a slate tile that I got for 99 cents at Home Depot. They do need a cooler side that drops down to about 70 to 80 generally. I wouldn't go much lower than that. And recommended cage size is at least 3 feet long by 20 inches deep and 12 inches high. This is a 75 gallon, so I believe it's 5 feet long or 4 feet long by 20 by 20. So this is overkill, just like all the other reptiles that I'm recommending. These guys are fantastic for beginners. They are quite tame and grow quite large. So anybody that likes the larger lizards rather than one of the smaller ones will do perfect with one of these guys. And finally, for the last starter reptile that I recommend in the lizard category is bearded dragons. Now I know everybody loves bearded dragons. They are super tame, super friendly, the puppy dogs of the reptile world, and honestly, that's true. In my opinion, don't hate me for this, but I think they're a little bit boring. That's why I don't have one. They're just, I don't know. They're still great, but they're a little bit too dog-like. They chill with you and watch TV. And for me, I like a little bit more active of a lizard, as you saw with the blue-tongued skink. As for cage size, they need pretty much the same care as the blue-tongued skinks. They need a hotspot of about 100 degrees. They need the cool side, mid to high 70s. And they need a minimum 4-foot cage. So that's actually a little bit of a deviation from the blue-tongued skink. But they do need a large cage. And their diet is different. They actually require a ton of live food. Little baby bearded dragons go through hundreds of crickets a week. They can plow through a small cricket farm if you let them. But as they grow up, they do require less protein, being the crickets and insects and stuff, and more salads. So similar to what the blue tongue has salad-wise, minus the meat. They do get very similar size as well. Anywhere from 20 to 24 inches is a standard size for a bearded dragon, and unlike the blue tongue, which live 15 to 20 years, these guys actually live 7 to 9 or so, sometimes 10, but 7 to 9 is what you can expect from them. So that's the youngest living species of any of the reptiles that I've recommended so far. So just keep that in mind. If you're not looking for the longest term commitment, then that's probably your way to go. Alright, in summary, I just want to go over some quick, very short noted points for you guys just to keep in mind. So for Cresties, they're very tame, they're tropical, they don't need live food, they're super duper cute. As you can see, she was licking me, she was licking her eyeball. They live a long time and they stay relatively small compared to the others. Leopard geckos, on the other hand, are as well very tame. They are desert species. They live a very, very long time. They do require crickets and live food, but for most of us that's not a problem. They come in a ton of different morphs, as do Crested Geckos, ranging from $25 to $1,500. They also stay relatively small compared to the blue-tongued skinks and the bearded dragons. Blue-tongued skinks are very active, they're subtropical, they live quite a long time, and they get to a good size for most people that like the bigger size lizards. I know I do myself, and many people do. Another great bonus is that they don't require live food. I know that can be a problem for a lot of people. It's providing that live food, and that isn't a problem with these guys. Finally, wrapping up the summary, bearded dragons, they're super tame. They have a shorter lifespan, so not quite as long as a commitment. They get a good size as well. However, they do require protein in crickets and or cockroaches or live food like that. Now, from Sky and I to you, we just want to wish you guys a great weekend. Have fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that it was a little bit different than some of my other videos that I've made, but it was still a lot of fun, and we hope that you can swing by the channel very soon. I should have another video up in a couple days, I'm hoping. It's a little bit of a different video, so those of you that like that, that's great. Anyways, guys, it's been Graphic Phoenix. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, click the like button down below. Comment on the video to give me your opinions, to tell me what you guys thought of the video. And click the subscribe button for more reptile awesomeness like this.